Hello everyone and welcome back to Great Deltan. Today is part 6 of the Branchline build and we are going to be looking at track weathering. This is a standard procedure which I do before undertaking any major scenery work, just to ensure that when I do spray the track and paint it, it stays exactly where it needs to be and not go on anything else. I've already made a good start on the track weathering and I have completed everything from that point over there at the back where the track stops, all the way down to here where it's quite obvious you can see that I've stopped. This is just the base level of weathering which most of the track will receive, and then over here where the point work is and the station platforms, there'll be a lot more varied effects, a lot more heavy weathering where locos will stop. So that's why I thought I'd leave this to do it in this video, and then it also gave me an opportunity to get on with some of the weathering and not have to film it. So hopefully not too much of a long video. Just going to take you through the 4-step process of my weathering, showing the varied effects, the product choose and the setup of my airbrush as well. The first job on the list is just to paint the sides of the rails. When the rails come out the factory, they're very shiny, very metallic. Obviously they look very brand new, and that is not how they look in real life, as modern rails are used, they're made of steel which rusts pretty easily, and that's the general sort of look that you get on most rails, not how they come out the factory. I use this product called Rust Wash by Humbrol. It's a pretty thin paint, so it spreads nice and easily. All you got to do is really dab it onto the rails and it'll spread onto where you need it to go. And I use that as a base layer of weathering. Generally you can't really tell too much difference when all the airbrushing is done, but what this does, it takes away the shine of the rail, and anywhere on the weathering where it's a little bit thin on the ground on the airbrushing, it just ensures that that metallic rail look won't shine through, and it'll be nice and dull, nice and rusted, and looking nice and weathered. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the sides of the rails. Due to the thinness of this part of the layout, and a majority of the viewing angles, if not all of them, will be just from the front, I'm only going to paint the sides of the rails that are visible to the eye. So that will be the front of this one, the front of that one, and then just pretty much all of the fronts. Even when you're looking from this angle, you can't really see the backs of the rails, so it saves me a bit of work not having to paint all of them. I just don't see much point in doing so. So that's the first job. I'll get on with that, and then we'll speak to you again when all of that is finished. Okay, all of the rails are now painted and it's looking a lot more dirtied up and less metallic and factory-like. The next step of the process is a pass of the airbrush with the Sleeper Grime paint by Rail Match, which is a generally often and common used paint with track weathering. It is pretty cliche, to be fair, almost every modeler uses it, but it is a very, very good colour. So what I'll do is I'll just demonstrate now what sort of passes I do, the technique and the application method, and then I'll go ahead and do that to the rest of the track. Right, I'll try not to block this with my hand too much, but it might be a little bit difficult because of that angle. What I've got in the airbrush right now is a 50-50 mix of White Spirit and the Sleeper Grime paint. White Spirit's fine to use, if not there's always paint thinner as well. And the first thing I'll do is just a pass on the outside of the rails, quite heavy, so it stands out a bit more compared to the likes of the rest of the weathering. Try and be as straight as possible. I'll also try and spray the side of the rail as well as the ballast. It can be a little bit difficult. Obviously it's difficult to get always a straight line, but then the weathering is never going to be completely uniform in real life either. So it's quite a dark pass, and that would be to represent basically all the rust that gets splashed off the rails. There'll also be a bit of mud from general weathering and exposure to the elements, but it is pretty dirty. So what I'm going to do now is just do a smaller pass on the inside of the rails, which is a little bit thinner, just leaving a little bit of clean ballast in the middle of the rails. then the last job that I'm going to do with the sleeper grime paint is just to give a general covering to the whole area, just to make the ballast look a little bit more dirty down. What I'm representing here is a pretty old branch line, so it's seen many years of traffic and exposure to the elements, so you're not going to get this pristine, nice new ballast. So it's going to be just a very general pass, trying to make it not look as patchy as possible, just to weather down the ballast really from all angles. Okay, and that is step 2, which is the sleeper grime. I'll go ahead and while I've got all the sleeper grime out, I will do all the station area, and then we'll move on to the third step, which will be the roof dirt paint. Okay, all of the sleeper grime is now finished, and I've gone ahead and done it into the station as well. As you can see there, with the mimicked abandon line, I've continued the track weathering as if the rails and sleepers were removed, just to make it look like a bit more authentic, and as if there was a previous second line there, and then that finishes just there. Apologies that I'm not actually videoing myself doing much of the work. I'll do these videos as and when needed, and I have a lot of free time right now at this specific moment, but my camera has not got much battery, which is always typical. So yeah, just going to be showing the beginnings of me doing the process, and then everything else will be done off camera. So let's move on quickly to the roof dirt then. Now, as for the roof dirt, the process is a lot easier. There's not really much technique to this. It's just a simple pass down the middle of the tracks, just to fill in the gaps left by the sleeper grime paint. Just makes it nice and dirty. So yeah, that's pretty much just the roof dirt. I'll go ahead and get on with the rest of this, and then we'll move on to the final part. Over in the station, I will do a general covering of this as well, just to dirty down the ballast a bit more than the main line, just because you get a lot more stationary locos, so you get the exhaust and the spills and whatnot coming from the locos there. But yeah, pretty easy with the roof dirt. Okay, and the last step of the process is a satin black enamel, and what I'm going to do is just accent all the details, such as the point work, which will be covered in lubricating grease, just where the tracks make contact, and then there'll also be a nice thin pass in the middle of the tracks to replicate the standard oil spills, diesel spills, exhaust marks. And then what I'll do afterwards, I'll just put a few patches here and there to represent areas in the past which may have been victim to the diesel and oil spillages. So it's quite easy, nice and slow. And there we have it really. I'm just going to give this quite a few minutes to dry now. Shouldn't take too long because it's only a thin coat. And then what I'll do is I'll get the abrasive rubber, give it a good clean, hoover it up, and then we'll see the finished result. Right, and there we have it. The area is coming together really nicely now, and it looks a lot more realistic, dirtied down and weathered than it did do at the beginning of the video. Looking really nice there with the lights on as well, on the signal and on the loco, and the whole area is just looking far better than it was to start with. That will actually be the only bit of track work that I'm going to do at the minute. The next video will focus on building up the embankment on the right hand side all the way down to the bottom, and then we'll continue on with the track detailing after that. Normally at this point in the layout build I would do a second stage of track detailing, such as relay boxes, trackside litter, buffer stops, all that sort of thing. But because I don't want to get any of the plaster mould that I'm using on the track, I want to cover the track completely with paper to mask it off, so I don't want any of the track details to get damaged. So I thought it'd be better to work from the back to the front. So that is where the scope of the next video will focus on, building up the embankment and finally getting some greenery on the layout, just to continue on the realisation of this scene and make it look pretty good. So yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry it's been a pretty lacklustre video in terms of detail, but like I say, I'm trying to film this in my free time that I do have, and that just so happens to coincide with the one time the battery is very low on the camera. So yeah, join me in the next video. I'm not sure when that will be, probably be February time. The next video will be pretty long because there's a lot to do in it in terms of the embankment and the greenery, all the scenery and everything. But I hope to get it to you by the end of February at least. So thanks again for watching. Thank you for your continued support and interest in the layout. And we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.